Hi, today we'll be replacing the older style mechanism for flushing a toilet inside the toilet. We're going to be using some new updated tools and hopefully save a little bit of water for a water bill with the whole process. The toilet in question is a Mansfield toilet. It's been a good toilet, but it's getting kind of hard to flush. And so we're going to replace this so for our guests it's a lot easier to use. The first thing you should do is locate the water cutoff valve. So far, I've already turned this off, so that way we've saved some problems. But it should be a clockwise turn to turn it off. From there, we can remove the top of the toilet. Once the top of the toilet is removed, you may find an old-style mechanism. The Mansfield toilets are equipped with such a device. Here's the old-style float valve. By doing so, when this comes up far enough, i.e. there's enough water in the tank, the water stops draining in. To flush, you work the handle like we're all familiar with, and this device rises and lowers. But as you can see with ours, what tends to happen is that the device is getting caught and is a little difficult and challenging to work. So we're just going to replace that. For the main flushing mechanism, the pieces that we'll be replacing with are from Fluidmaster. It's the complete toilet repair kit. It's model 400 AKR. It even comes with a new handle and lever rod, all the gaskets, pretty much everything you need to replace it. I bought this last night at the Home Depot for about $20. It uses a standard set of tools, including a wrench, like a crescent wrench, a screwdriver that you may need to take the tank off the toilet, and some additional tools. Hopefully to help us save a little water, we've also bought this piece. This is from some company, which I don't really know who it's from. MJSI is apparently who it's from. And this is a dual flush system, and what happens is you push one side of the button for less fluids, and one side of the button when you need a little extra water. It's Hydrorite, and it is green spec listed. It says it'll save up to about 15,000 gallons year after year. We'll just see how much water this can really save. By the way, this sold for about $10 at the Home Depot. So we've taken the lid off, we've flushed the toilet a time or two, and there's still some residual water. So we're going to have to get that out with like a spoon or a cup or something similar. At this point, we need to start removing the water line into the bottom of the toilet tank. To do this, we simply just start turning. Once I got it loosened, it does come out just a little bit. And we need to have our little reservoir handy underneath to catch any excess spillage. There should also be about 3 of these brass nuts and bolts sticking through the tank that connect it to the actual bottom part of the toilet. So you're going to have to put a crescent wrench on each of those and use a really long screwdriver, something similar to that. This is a Husky, really long with a 3/8 inch head. It works pretty well for this. In fact, I think this is the entire reason I purchased that screwdriver. I'm also now going to use a crescent wrench to loosen the fitting for the actual device on the tank itself. So this piece is still connected from the underside right here, and I loosen that at this point. Still can't get it by hand, so let's keep on this with this crescent wrench. It's a nylon fitting, so we're going to have to be very, very cautious. At this point, water should start to leak. Second I get that out, we start to fill up here, but there's not much in there, so my half of an apple juice container pretty easily catches it, and anything else my towel has caught. So just be cautious with this. This could cause some serious mold or mildew on trim, and just a real mess to clean up. If you're not real careful, a little prevention saves a lot. With that old style float valve removed, we'll now go to taking the remainder of the tank off so we can get the rest of the new inset on. Now we simply pick this old boy up and it's going to come right on off of there. At this point on the underside of the tank, there's this rubber washer here, and the bottom side of the float of the flush mechanism itself, and we'll remove both of those as well. You want to replace those because you don't want to have old stuff in place. I'm now going to use a tool which most people may not have in their arsenal. It's a rubber wrench by Cobalt, and basically you strap the rubber around and then you use it to act as the tensioning force on the plastic in place. I could not have turned this with my hands, so good job. Already it's moved. Thanks. Last thing left to do is to remove the old style handle. For anyone following along and doing this at home, you should note that the threads are reverse threaded. So in this case, righty loosey, lefty tighty. Alright, so now we have the new flush mechanism with the flap in place, which we're going to take off in just a second, the flap that is, for our new water saving device. We actually have the float valve, the new style, that inserts the water. You can see the nipple there. And this will run water directly into the flush tube. So it will fit something like this. Like, well, that. We also won't be making use of the new flush handle. Nor will be, however, we will be using the brand new nuts and washers and bolts because you always want to use the brand new stuff. Also, we'll be making use of this new gasket. Fantastic. We first tilt the tank back. We're going to insert this inside the tank, and we'll reach around underneath and we'll put the nut on. Next, we take this bowl gasket and insert it nicely over the remaining threads. Next, in that kit of things that was the connector with about 2 rubber pieces that look like what the heck's going on, you'll find a shank washer, which is in fact this little guy. Stick him on with the angle down and work it all the way up. Take just a second and set the tank back on the bowl, and then find all the new fittings and go ahead and put the washers on. This will make your life a lot easier. Now how this will go is it will go washer inside the tank. Underneath the tank it'll be it'll be washer, nut, ring nut. Easy as please. After we've slid the nuts into place, then come around and make sure that you adjust the tank so that the water line fits into the new the water feeding system. Now with everything firmly bolted in place, all we have to do is install the water piece, connect it, and get the water coming out of the pump. First things first, we've got to put in the new handle. Clearly there's 2 buttons for more water and 1 button for less. It screws on correctly. By that I mean righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Now according to the instructions, I slide this over the tank piece. Next, with this piece known as the cam adjuster, I slide it down in and tighten it up. I missed a crucial step. See that? The nice zip tie. When you slide it over and into this little spot here, next thing you have to do then is use that zip tie to tighten it down. Then the handy dandy black rubber ring slides around to the top. I still see a little gap, but they also supplied us with an extra zip tie, so we'll see what happens. The actual unit clips in, slides in very easily, and then with the push of the blue button, slides over top and is done.